I introduced myself earlier, Astehmari Batekun, from Abundant Centres UK, but also I have the hat of Schools of Unified Learning, which is a cultural arts school. And so I'm going to give a very, very short, concise presentation just regarding our pedagogy, our approach to learning. In summary, it's called uLearn, which means unified knowledge. The language is Amerindia, which is the Ethiopian language. I think what Mamadi and Siba Andre has done and said is an excellent complement. They're very much family pedagogy. In our school, we developed as a growth from the Kazimba and Gomba Academy, which is a cultural arts school, specifically with a remit to reclaim our own way of educating, to give parents and families a choice, a organised, clearly defined form that families could use, that schools could use, that countries could use. And that sits under the idea of pedagogy, which means approaches to learning. So, uLearn means unified knowledge. And if I point here, this part here, yeah, refers to this fidel. This refers to this. M refers to this. R refers to this. Refers to this. W refers to this. Refers to this. T refers to this. The fidel is a syllabary, so it's a palette of sound. Now, why am I speaking about language when we're talking about the language of science? Is it connected? It is connected because from our point of view, as has been said before, science is really simply knowing, coming to know. And so we should think, how do we come to know? Language is part of the coming to know. And in our development of the pedagogy, we realize that what we think is our language actually should be much broader. We should think in a broader way. And with a broader way, we'll be able to see more science. We'll be able to approach challenges in a more creative way and in a more logical way and in a way that's more using of our faculties, our full range of faculties. So, if we go to the next slide. This is the handout that you have. What I'd like is just for each person here to read a part of it, just to take a couple of lines and then stop and then the next person to read it, just so that we can hear it. Right, let's start, please. From where you can read at the top. The Amerindia at the top says Exiri Masagan Hashima Tawagi Asar. This means creatively praised, to respect the warrior idea. It's a salute, it's a greeting. It's a way that we initialize our presentation or our workshops or our classes.
Unified knowledge approach to education. Basically, for someone, the most concise way to summarize unified knowledge approach to education is to give the key elements through these three sections.
Cultural basis is Pan-African and Kemetic.
Okay, so I think there's three sections there, if you want to read them.
Culture, objectives, principles, processes, and protocol.
Okay, thank you.
Right. culture, that's where we are. The cultural basis of unified knowledge is Pan-African committee. Yeah?
Yeah.
Objectives. The main objectives of unified knowledge are the development of, should I go on?
Yes.
Peace, brackets love, well-being, the mind's core, consciousness, will, communications, creativity.
Okay, next.
Principled living, productive capacity, healthful space, humanity overstood.
Okay.
Principles, processes, and protocols of practice. The principles, processes, and protocols of the unified knowledge practice are.
Can I pass it? I haven't got my glasses on.
Okay.
I'm straining my eyes. So.
Respectful ways with a sense of truth, justice, order, and right. With my answer for UTS.
Okay.
Ma'at, universal orders, natural orders, even social orders.
And the next one.
Ma'at, hisab, mathematics.
Okay.
Tewagi Asab, the warrior idea for contemplation and points of agreement. Jizat, province of space, land, air, and mind, in personal, family, community, national, earth, planet, and universal domains.
Harmony with nature, mind, body, and breath harmonies, consciously applied forms such as dance, sports, yoga, martial arts, etc.
The unified knowledge, language, curriculum, graduation and accreditation, then story.
Okay. So I've asked you to read it just so you put some concentration to see what's there. It's a summary. And the question I pose to any family is that have you asked your school, where you send your children, what the pedagogy is that you're using in regard to the teaching of the children that you send to the school? What is the pedagogy that's used? This framework allows you to think about that in terms of what is the culture of the approach to learning that the standard system uses. What are the objectives of it? The head teacher for any school should be able to define the objectives of their approach to learning. What are the principles, processes and protocols that are used in the school or in the approach to learning that are used to fulfill the objectives within the context of the culture? So it's a framework, and I invite families to explore that. I invite schools to explore it, as in community schools, and I invite country to explore it. And this is where our work in travelling to Ethiopia and working with the university there reflects that. Due to the time, we're going to focus on one aspect of the principle, process and protocol, which is to do with language. So I think you'll see that there's many fields, and obviously it's a thing in itself. It's a conversation which would take much more time. Next slide, please. So this symbol, it gets at the heart of some of our language idea in terms of opening our mind to what language can be and the utility of it. It says at the top, respect, then hashima. Hashima is a Swahili word. It means respect, or heshima, like this. So under that are the Fidel. This term, I say the two because in our school, we have developed the ha for particular reasons, different from the tradition of the Swahili, which is hashima. Anyway, under that is the Fidel, which is the Ethiopian script. It's just a few letters from it, but it also says ha, she, and ma. And our idea is that, as well as being able to speak in African language, which our children should do, we should also be able to write in it. The Ethiopian script is the only African script that is held by the country. the African countries. African countries have African scripts, but only Ethiopia uses it as a national script, which means it has international respect. So it is the reason why we hold it as a language of instruction for keywords. We don't use it as a full language of instruction, but for keywords, for important ideas, and this touches on to Siba Andres as he introduced the need to reclaim language, and Mamadi, reclaim the definitions of words from them being defined in a Greek or Latin culture. We have to be able to reflect our own way of dealing with that. So you have ha, she, and ma. That's the fidel. You have numbers under that. The numbers reflect the position that each fidel has in its order, like A is 1, and B is 2, and C is 3. So this ha is the 15th fidel. The she is the 52nd fidel, and the ma is the 25th fidel. With those numbers, you'll see underneath it another kind of symbol. Who knows what that is? What do you think that is? This row. Okay, it's a good guess. It's not a Dinka. It's still part of the Amarenia culture. It's number. It's number. This is the Ethiopian numbers. Ethiopia has its own numbers, and it's not just the same as the European numbers or the Arabic numbers, because very quickly, this symbol here, if this symbol is to mean 5, then why isn't it here under 52? Then it's different. This is 50. This symbol means 50 and 2. This symbol means 20 and 2. It's not 2 and 5, it's 20 and 5. That introduces the potential for a whole different way of calculating. And that whole different way of calculating is a different mentality. So we take on board these differences which are rooted in thousands of years of heritage because it connects us back to African-centered ways of being. This is why the language of science from an African perspective should embrace more than just Latin. So under that, they are numbered. They're saying the same thing. It's saying 15, 52, and 25. Under that are hand signs. In our idea of Yitumir Uk et Kwankwa, unified knowledge language, is that signing should be part of that. So you have ha as a hand sign. Ha. Let's do this together. Ha. And then she. And ma. Okay, one more time. Ha. Push it forward. That's it. She. Ma. Now, sometimes, if you're new to that, you may be thinking, oh, the fingers, you're not used to using them. You're right, you're not used to using them because you've not been using them. But people who need sign, they do. And they have that flexibility. There's no reason why everyone should not have the utility of sign language so you can have non-verbal communication. What's the answer to this?
Four.
Show me with a hand sign. Show me with your hands. Okay. So now, you said 4 because it's habit to say 4. I signed it. You could sign it back. We have non-verbal communication. What does this mean?
Correct.
That's right. Now we can have a whole conversation like this. Using number is a great way into signing because you can do simple things. And it's simple, you know the answer. But actually, you're in non-verbal communication. And it's a whole nother space. This is part of our language idea. And you mentioned Adinkra. We also connect to the idea of Adinkra because Adinkra now, there's not an Adinkra here, but Adinkra are a palette of Ghanaian symbols that each one holds a proverb, holds a wisdom. And so with one word, you can say something that has a whole idea to it. Now, you could finger spell that one word, and that means you signed it, you said something profound with just a few hand gestures. Our tradition is the griot, as was mentioned, and the griot will hold these wisdoms and be able to speak with the poetry. So if we have the right language base and we teach the children the adinkra and the signing, there will be non-verbal, profound poetry. Those things, this is part of our language idea, to exercise the faculty, so that when we want to, well, not even when we want to, that our business of knowing is in its proper place. It's because we don't have the right language base why the knowing is not in the proper place. So the hand sign is like this. Underneath that are a set of numbers. Those numbers say the same thing. This part here is 15. It's binary. It's a number base. So just like you use decimal, which uses the characters from 1 to 9 and a 0, in binary you just use 1s and 0s, but you can reflect any number. So those 4 1s is not 1,111, it's actually 15. So that's 15. The next one, separated by the colon, is 52. The one after that is 25. So that is reflecting the number, but it's another pattern, it's a different way of looking at it. Mathematics, respect mathematics. Mathematics is the study and application of patterns. It's simple like this. Next one. So this is the same pattern, which is saying Hashima. We've taken it, we've taken the word, turned it into number, turned it into binary, it becomes a pattern like this. And we have a clapping exercise. So very quickly, we're going to clap this rhythm. I'll put it in a kind of separated way to help see it clearer. There are 6 1s. So let's just clap 6 1s. And again. Okay, so there's a 0 1 after that. So 6 1s, 0 1. I didn't tell you how to make 0. Alternate sound. It's 2 things. Binary is like that. So now we've made the 1s be a clap and the 0 be something else. It could be on a table. It just has to be 2 things. So, just that part again. Okay, now, that's good, it's easy. The second part is easy as well. 0 0 1 1 0 0 1. Okay. 0 0 1 1 0 0 1. Now it's better now to just say the numbers. If we say the 1s and 0s, we'll own it. So, we'll say the 1s. But with the first set, you can count that. So you can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we don't get lost in all the 1s. Then 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1. Okay. Now, this transfers to the drum. So, you take it to the music now. It's musical when you clap it, but on the drum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1. This is now putting it to music form. So I'm saying Hashima. In our schooling, ones who hear that know it. They know what that says. And you can take any word. You can take your name, do the same process, turn it into a number, turn it into a rhythm. Your name is a drum rhythm. Then you can talk to each other by drum. Every African culture that has a drum, most do, have language to that. They know language for it. But always it's regional. This presents a model that allows a universal way to clearly communicate with the drum. So this is our idea. Given more time, I would introduce what we call first and second Hashima, which is where one side play Hashima and then the other side play Hashima, but at a slightly different timing. And then you will hear just clear music for that. But anyway, next one please. So this is really what I wanted us to do. And I'll try and make it very concise. because it's an experiment. It's an experiment. You know that today's a special day, right?
Happy day.
Clips.
Happy day? It's happy day because you've got the smiley face in the paper.
No, so you want a happy day.
Okay, okay. Okay, tell me something about today.
It's turn of spring. We had the solar eclipse.
Okay, yeah, that's right. So we've got these events that have happened. The turn of spring and this this solar eclipse.
We've got a bigger moon as well, I think yesterday or today.
Well, I don't think it's physically changed its size, but it's a
No, I
perception.
mean it's
but
closer, sorry,
Yeah.
it's closer, yeah.
Okay, so who here has a real sense of what that's about? You hear it's in the paper, it says this thing has happened, but what's actually happened? Who here has a sense of what has actually happened?
What an eclipse is.
Yeah. What's happening?
Is the eclipse of the sun or moon? Because
It's the eclipse of the
it
sun.
wasn't on the Nigerian radio, so I don't know. I didn't know
Of the
about
sun.
it. But that means that the moon is hiding the sun.
Okay. And how does that happen?
And
Do
then the
you-
Earth has to line up with it.
Okay.
Everything's in alignment, so everything's in a straight line, but then a certain direction, it takes time to be in synchronization and connection.
Okay. Okay. These are the right kind of answers. But I feel, Mama D, I respect Mama D so much for these things. See, the business of really knowing it. How do we really know? How do we really know it? So there are exercises to help us partly to visualize it better and to, I use visualize, to sense it better. To sense it better. So this image, what is this image saying?
What is it saying?
What is it saying? What does this say to you? What do you get from this? What's happening in this picture?
The earth is going around the sun at different times. And there's a child riding.
What else can you see? And maybe that's what you see. What else? Is there anything else? Sounds like it. What
Well,
do you see?
based on the exercise we've just done before, I can see a pattern.
Okay. What do you think the pattern is? Or what do you think? What information can you get from this?
Time.
Communicating time.
Okay. Some idea of time, and idea of energy. What about the time?
The transitional time, so essentially you've got a full day because it's going around the sun, or you've got a full year because it's going, the spin of the earth is a full day, and then the orbit around the sun is a full year. So it's a transition of one state to another state to another state. So you've got, from what I can see, you've got summer, spring, winter, autumn, and it's the communication of that based on what he sees based on the drum,
Okay.
but also the positioning.
Okay. So, what season is he travelling from, and what season is he travelling to?
He's
What
traveling.
landmark is he travelling to?
Right, so depends on what location of the earth, what location is in the earth, but
Can I put it another way as well, to add more to it? What question do you have? What question do you have that will allow you to work this out?
I want to know what the area that the red is, where the sun's shining, what those areas are.
What this?
No, actually on the globe, actually on the planet, then
Yeah.
you've got the red, the sun shines
This-
on the red areas
This
and the
it?
different, yeah,
Okay.
trying to make those out.
That is the illumination of the sun. The idea of the art of that is showing that these sides of the earth are being illuminated by the sun.
Yeah.
It's a three-dimensional. It's trying to grasp a three-dimensional idea of a further away, a nearest, this way and that way, and the light reflecting on them, illuminating them.
You've got some numbers, but I can't see the other three. I can only see 1100.
Okay.
So I'd like to know what the numbers are.
Okay, good question. Fair enough. This says 1000, So it looks like 1,000, but it's not 1,000. It says 1000. This one says 10000. This one says 1100. The same as this, 1100. So these two are the same. This one says 1000, and that says 1000. Yeah.
It's
What's your idea?
the binary is binary, so the binary is coding something, it's coding, there's a link, so for example, you've got 1100, and what's the one on the top? It's
1100 also.
1100.
Yes, it is.
So it's a mirror of it, and it's a translation of positions based on the binary itself, so you decode binary, which you explain.
I'm taking it at this point that no one here feels really hot on their binary then.
No.
There's one binary master. Okay, tell us the numbers, sir.
Well, starting from the right to the left, you have each, the zeros and the ones represent on and off. So you've got 1, 2, 4, and 8. So from my calculation, the one at the bottom, which is closest to everybody, which everybody can see, is the number 12.
This one?
Yes.
Okay, you're right, this is 12.
12.
Okay.
And then you have the number 8. Yeah, 1, 2, 4, 8 there.
So 8, 12,
12, 16,
16,
and back to 12.
12. Okay, so now we have it, it's decoded. Those are the correct numbers. Binary is something in a school, most schools, posh schools teach primary school children binary. Like they do with the chess and those
Yes,
things
sir.
like this. You know
That's
those
right.
schools that do those things? Yeah, they get the binary early because it's an early idea. It's not for later on, it's an early idea.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, it's primal. It's a primal duality type idea. So, okay, we've got the numbers 8, 12, 16, and 12. What is it telling us? The times of the day. The times of the day. It's telling us about the amount of light, the length of the day, the amount of sunlight that we have for the day at various points in time. So, today, we're here, right here. This morning we passed this place, and between us and the sun was the moon. That's what occurred. This drummer, baby drummer, he travelled around like this. When this was made, we weren't here. Now we're here. So, number is a tool of perception. Number is a tool of perception. It allows us to perceive things. If I just wrote those numbers somewhere else, it's a different use.
Mm-hmm.
But on here, it's telling me something useful, like this. So, our idea, I'm going to summarize, I had wanted us to do the whole clapping exercise to go around it, because with this exercise, we fill in the extra numbers. And so you travel around from winter, when you have only approximately 8 hours of sunlight, you travel round to March, where you have approximately equal time in the day, equal 12 hours of sunlight to night time, to shadow time. Then it comes down to summer, where it increases further to 16 hours approximately. Then it decreases back to 12, round to 8, 12, 16, 12, 8, but it's in between, so it's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, what's this? 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, that's right. It's a simple pattern.
Only
Right.
if you're in England. In Nigeria, it's 12 all the time.
Okay, fair enough. And then we have different rhythms for these places. So the point I'm making is that in our Yutumur Öket, simply the drum practice allows you to drum and travel. Because drumming is a different dynamic. That's why that boy's having so much fun. So you can drum and move around. You can have a sense of movement with the number. You have the vibration of the drum, but you have the consciousness that something is changing. It has an idea to it. That, in summary, is an example of Yetimet Öket. There are many like this, and it's built upon the whole of this pedagogy. It's built on these principles. So, to find out more about these principles, if you have a look at the guide for this Science Week, you'll see on the back there's a course. It's an online course which we just launched, Educating with Unified Knowledge, where every element of this is explained. The course is approximately 3 months. It's explained as an introduction. And we're doing that to invite families, particularly, to be able to work together, to have a common agreement. So by knowing the pedagogy, let's say your family and your family know the pedagogy, then you have a common agreement around certain things. If you agree that your cultural reference point is Pan-Africa, and you agree that it's Kemet for the classic reference, rather than Greek and Rome for the classic reference, which is standard system. If you go to a school and you say, what's the culture of the school? They should tell you it's a European school, it's English school, which is in Europe, and it's Latin and Rome for the classic reference. You don't think they're going to say that, but then that's what it is. We have to ask the question. So, Kemet for the classic reference. Then you have the objectives. So, the whole thing summarizes our approach. You will have agreements about what your objectives can be. There's going to be more, but these ones give a good way forward. Something like the development of the mind's core is a simple way into a conversation, and a simple way into defining a set of learning experiences that you can work together on as families. But then it's not just to say these are the objectives. Then you've got a body of principles, processes and protocols. These are the tools to get the thing done, to build it. Hashima is one of them, like the code of conduct. But there are others. What I'd like to do is just, of the tools, I've mentioned language, but I'll take 3 of the tools and just explore it further if you have a question on it. So have a look at the tools. There's 10 there. And if you see one there that you want to know what does that mean a bit more, I'll answer it. But just 3 of them.
I'll just ask a quick question.
Yes.
Where do the griots fit?
Okay. Well, at the last one, the story.
Yeah.
The story, this is the nature of our heritage, typically told in story form. And we think now that story is a light thing, a simple thing that's not powerful. But actually, our task should be to embed and develop the stories that hold all of the heritage. Doctor, speaking about immunology, and he spoke about some arts that he had experienced, some fusion experiments or fusion activities. I was thinking, what about movement? What would it be for students to be moving in a space where they are expressing the idea of cells, or the idea of blood, or the idea of the immune system in various forms? This is our sense is that in doing that, there's embodiment. The knowledge is held in a certain place, which is not often, we're not often given opportunity to hold knowledge in that way. So the griot is story.
Picking 10 then.
Okay, well I think I've explored it then. So story is like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another one, please. The Tawagi Asab. This is a philosophy for the school. The Tawagi Asab means warrior idea. The warrior idea is the thoughts and perceptions of the warrior's mind, forming clear desires, intentions and plans for the establishment and maintenance of peace throughout their province. Through the creation of power and the communication of wisdom, the warrior relentlessly strives to grasp all of the Tawagi Asab in the knowledge that the self of the warrior I and the self of the community I and I are one. It's a statement. Inside it, there are many important ideas. Each thing is like this. So I just wanted you to have a sense that each element has a certain depth to it, and they are integrated. Upon that note, I'm going to bring us to a closure. because we are upon the time, and I think that's it. How have you found the evening so far? Okay, give thanks. So this is an event that's been organised by the Abundant Centres UK Development Trust, and it's our intention to have more of them. I'm very glad that my sister Ronna is here, Ronna Campbell, because we've had a conversation which has inspired me to announce at other events that our trust is exploring the idea of credit union, developing credit union. And so at each event I've announced that we are exploring this idea of credit union, and that as you have put your details down on our mailing list, I will be writing to outline to you how this can work, with the common bond being family-directed learning, the common bond being unified approaches to learning, like this. Anyway, there's more of that to come. So, I thank you. If you can stand, before we close, I'd like us just to have a drum vibration, where you can use your voices and be empowered with peace and determination. So in the same way we did the drumming for Hashima, I can drum a rhythm which is saying Om and E. In our class, the Om now is a breathing exercise. We call it Tunfash Azeza, means breath command. That's a use of Amarenia to hold an important term. Tunfash Azeza, rather than saying breathing exercise or breath command. Tunfash Azeza, breath command. Right, so Om is a resonance of peace, and E is a resonance of determination. And so I would like, and I know that we all want peace and determination as we develop these science practices and life practices. So I'll drum it, I'll utter the first sound, but if you follow it, just repeat the sound and breathe. Just settle into the breathing. We'll do it for a minute, and we'll be on our way peacefully, I trust.
Thank you.